Hey there, here's a quick little video for APUSH distance learning on how to review for period 4, which is lessons 12 and 13. This unit begins Wednesday, April 23rd, and it goes until Monday, April 27th at 11:59 p.m. So you have a little bit more time to complete this one. With period 3 review, you had about 3 days. With this period 4 review, because of some requests from that survey, you have the weekend and plus Monday as well to complete it. So you have about 5 days to complete this unit. So a little bit longer. The first thing you do is you watch this video right here. So click it, view it, good to go. It'll then open up the next lesson, which is lesson 12 on content from period 4. So if you click on it, it should look very similar to the last one you did for period 3, trying to keep it consistent so you know what to expect and how to manage your time. And note that the video options here, there were some students that were watching all of these, which is not what you're supposed to do, and reading that too. You're not supposed to do that. Pick one. Like if you will only have a limited amount of time, or you feel really strongly about the content from period 4, then just watch like this first video or watch this second video to get a brief overview of the big ideas. And a lot of that information from those two videos, whichever one you watch, will be stuff you can use to answer the questions in this review guide. If you want a more thorough review process, don't watch those videos. Instead, read this section of the AMSCO review book. It's 59 pages of content, so it's a lot. So if you don't watch the videos and you want more content, more in depth, read that. Or if you want to watch a little bit more in-depth information, I highly recommend these College Board videos. Watch video 1 and video 2 instead of doing these things. But don't do all of them. I heard some people saying they're doing all of it. Then work your way through the review guide. Wherever you see these blue video links, you are not required to watch all of those. Those are just there if you need the assistance or the extra bit of review, or if you forgot. So after you did whatever task you picked for up here, and if you, after watching those videos or reading that section, you know the answer to question 1, you don't need to watch this. You can just put the answer there and you're good to move on. If you knew the answer to these before you even watched or read any of this stuff up here, that's fine. You can type the answer in. This is meant to be a review to remind you of important content and concepts. If you already know this stuff, then you don't need to watch all these extra video links. They're there to help you if you go, you know what, I really can't remember what Marbury versus Madison was or why it was significant, even after doing this earlier review activity, then you should watch this. So plan accordingly. You really can personalize to what you need to do, but don't go crazy watching every video if you don't need to. Their links are just there to help you if you need it. A little bit more questions for period 4. There's just more content in period 4 than there's period 3, so you got 5 more questions. And you have a couple of documents you're supposed to analyze as well. Answer these analysis questions that are provided. So make a copy of this, make it public so I can see it, and then upload it to Schoology for lesson 12. Then for lesson 13, second lesson, we're focusing on a skill in the modified DBQ. First, please read this part 1 section. It talks about contextualization. It breaks down what you need to do. It tells you 2 different ways that you can do contextualization. You have this formatting script here about how it should look, the different components that need to be present to earn that contextualization point. So please read this and just be aware of it and take note of these helpful tips for what you should do and to what you should remember. I've gotten a lot of questions from a handful of students about how to do contextualization, how can they review contextualization, how can they practice it. This should cover that for the most part right here. For part 2, you have another modified DBQ. So you have a prompt with 5 documents. To kind of change things up, there are 4 different options here for the DBQ prompts. Check them out. Pick one of them. So pick option 1 or pick option 3 or whatever. And then find the main point for the documents in that essay prompt. Figure out how you can use that content from that document to answer the prompt. Please type the prompt of the document you select here so I know which one you're using. And then after that, you should corroborate the docs into groups, which you're getting very good at, and then write an introductory paragraph. So this is different than the last time. We're focusing on context and your thesis. So here, create an introductory paragraph where you start off with context, then you link/transition it to your thesis, And hey, you should have a paragraph response right here that answers the prompt that you select. So you're doing the first paragraph. There is no document analysis here, so you don't need to hit anything, which I'm sure many of you will be very happy about. All we're focusing on for lesson 13 is reading a document or reading a DBQ prompt, corroborating the documents, and then making that introductory paragraph with context and thesis. If you can't quite remember how to do contextualization, again, look at this top part here. It'll help you out. Okay, so those are the two assignments. They're due Monday at 11:59 p.m., but feel welcome to get it done earlier. Next week will be period 5 for Tuesday through Friday, and then you'll have a nice weekend break before we dive into period 6 and period 7. If you are collaborating with peers in this class to work on these review guides or to get some assistance on the modified DBQs and contextualization, that is okay as long as you are doing it together and that you identify in your submitted work who you collaborated with. So like if you worked with another friend on the review guide and you guys worked through it together and you are aware of all the content, like you're not only knowing just half of the content, but you know all the content, make a note of who you worked on it with. So when I look over these, I'm not assuming that someone's just copying and pasting someone else's work. If work is like identical to somebody else's and it's not noted that there's collaboration there, it's going to result in a 0 for both students in the grade. So you're doing the work. You're each submitting your own work if you are collaborating, but it's got to be clear that you know it, and you got to make it known to me who you collaborated with. Also, when you submit work and you collaborated, the work needs to be submitted by both or all parties that work together at roughly the same time, like within an hour of each other. Like if I have a student that submits their lesson 12 at, Friday at 1:00 p.m. and then I have another student that submits their work at Monday at 11:59 p.m. at the last minute, and they say they collaborated with somebody that submitted their work days earlier, I'm just going to naturally assume that there was not real collaboration there. Someone did the work and then the assignment was then copied and given to somebody else. And if I see that, I'm going to assume that there was cheating instead of actual collaboration. So make sure that if you're working with somebody on it, make sure you tell me who you're working with and try to submit them as close as possible within reason to each other, like within an hour. So like if your partner submitted it at 1 p.m. on Friday, try to get it in by 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock, if not at 1 o'clock p.m. on Friday as well. If that doesn't make any sense, send me an email and I can clarify it even better. Have a great week and happy studying.